Hey everyone, how are you? Today we are starting a new series on Django and the name of the series is Django Mastery Series. Now the focus of this series is to teach anyone about Django who doesn't know about it at all. So if you are a beginner or if you are somebody who is starting to learn about Django or web development, then this is the correct place for you. In the first episode of this series, we are going to understand about Django. So there is some introduction and setup. So basically we are going to set up the Django development environment in your own system. So once again, welcome to the Django Mastery series and let's start. So first of all, we need to understand what is Django and why should we use it. Then we will proceed and we will see how to set up Django development environment in your own system, where we will see how to set up Python and VS Code. We will install Django via pip. So pip is the package manager for Python. We will create a virtual environment. We will create your first Django application or project, and then we will run the development server as well. We will also see the project structure of Django. So there will be a quick overview of Django project files. So let's get started and let us see what is Django. So basically, if we go with the definition, it is a high level Python web framework that allows you to build your web application securely, which is scalable and maintainable. So in short, I can say that Django is a framework which allows you to create a web application using Python. That's it. Now, why should you use Django? There are lots of frameworks. There is Flask, then there is Fast API, then there is other languages like Spring you have in Java. So there are a lot of web frameworks, but why should we go for Django? See, the thing is, Django provides some specific features, some good features, and that's why it is very much used in a lot of big projects. So some features are like security, which is one of the most demandable feature in any web application. It should be secure. So Django provides you a built-in protection against SQL injections, XSS, CSRF, and a lot of common security features are available in Django by default. So you don't need to worry about some common features. Batteries included, it means it has a lot of common features which a web application should have, and it includes all those features. For example, it provides you an admin panel by default. You don't need to create a code for admin panel. There is a default feature for it. ORM, which is called object relationship mapping, using which you can write your code in Python and which will work for your database as well. So you don't need to write SQL. You can directly write your Python code and it will execute your database code as well. So now you don't need to write a lot of complex queries. A lot of things like authentication, session management, a lot of middlewares are also present which helps you to build your application faster. And that's the next point, rapid development. Django is preferred if you want to create your web application faster with less code. So if you have a time constraint, if you want to build your application quickly, then Django is one of the most preferred web framework. Clean and scalable code. So if you know about Python and if you have a little bit understanding of Django, then you will be able to understand big projects in Django as well, because the code in Django is really clean and scalable as well. It follows MTV architecture. In general, we know it as MVC. MTV means model, template, and view. We will see a lot about this later on in later videos. And MVC is one of the common architecture in web development, which is called model view controller. So in Django also it's very much similar to MVC, but we call it as MTV, model, template, and view. Then open source and community. See, the thing is, there is a big community present for Django. If you need some kind of packages, some kind of third party applications, or you have a custom requirements, there is a lot of chance that it's already developed by somebody. So Django has a mature ecosystem, a lot of reusable packages, and a good community to support you. Okay, enough of the talking. Now we know about Django a bit. So let us start and let us do the setup. Let us set up Django development environment in our own system, so that in the later videos we can start writing some code in Django and start creating our web application. So first of all, you need to know that Django is a high level Python web framework. It means all the code of Django is written in Python. So you need to have Python installed in your system. Now, if you have not installed Python, then I have already created a lot of videos how can you install Python, and the link of that is given in the description. But let me tell you in short how can you download and install Python in your own system, and it is a very easy process. You can go to any browser and you can type Python space downloads, hit enter, and this is the first link where you have to go. And once you go to this link, based on your own operating system, this will show an option that download Python. Now the thing is, we majorly use Windows, Linux, or Mac, right? If you are using a Linux system, Ubuntu or Linux based system, then you will already have Python installed in your own system. But if you are using Windows or Mac, then you might have to install Python. So you can follow this process and click on this download Python. Now once you click on this, it will download a file. Now this is the package which you have to install in your system, and once you install it, the installation process is very normal. You can just click on the file and just click on next, 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 and it will automatically get installed. But if you want any assistance, then you can check out the video which is given in the description. Now once Python is installed in your system, then you can open your terminal, and we will do a lot of things on terminal. So make sure that you know about terminal commands, and if you don't know, then no worries, we will see each and every commands. Now first of all, we need to know how can we check that Python is installed or not. So this is the command python hyphen hyphen version. So let us run this command python hyphen hyphen version. So I'm getting the output as Python 3.13.0. So it means Python is installed in my system and the version is 3.13.0. Now let's create a folder. Let's create a project folder in which we are going to write our Django codes. So let us create a folder called as Django Mastery. Now the thing is, guys, you can create a folder directly going to your file manager, or you can do it using terminal. I prefer it using terminal. So this is the command mkdir space your folder name. So I can create a folder called as Django Mastery. So let me clear the console, and now you can type the command mkdir space your folder name, which is Django Mastery for now. Now hit enter, and for me it is saying file exists because I have already created the folder. Now once you have created your folder, what you can do, you can go into that folder using cd space your folder name Django dash mastery. Now my terminal is pointing to this folder Django Mastery. Alright, let us clear the console. And the thing is, guys, all the development I will be doing, I will be using VSCode. So if you do not have VSCode installed, or if you prefer to use any other code editor, then that is completely fine. But it will be good if you have VSCode installed and you do the development in VSCode, because that way you can follow along with me. But again, it is completely optional. Now the next thing is, you can open your folder in your code editor. For now I will open my folder, the folder which we just created, Django Mastery, into our VS Code. So I have already opened it. So you can see this Django Mastery folder. I have this in the VS Code. But if you want to open it, it's very easy. You can just go to File, Open Folder, and then go to your folder which you want to open. So this is the folder Django Mastery. Just click on Open, and you will have this Django Mastery available over here. Now the next thing is, let us create a virtual environment. To create a virtual environment in Python, what you do, you type the command python -m venv. Now this is the command using which you create a virtual environment. Now why do you need to create a virtual environment? The thing is, in different projects we want to separate out the different Python configurations and Python packages which we are using. So for our project, for Django Mastery, we are going to have a separate set of third-party libraries which we are going to use, and that's why we are creating a virtual environment, so that we do not disturb your actual Python configuration which is there in your whole system. So this will be a virtual environment just for this project, Django Mastery. Now this is the command python -m venv. After this, you need to type the virtual environment name. So let's actually name it as venv. So the complete command is going to be python -m venv space venv. This is our virtual environment name. You can name this anything, abc, xyz, but let's name it as venv. So the name is venv. Hit enter, wait for some time, and this will create a virtual environment in your folder. So you can see this virtual environment is created, venv. Now the next thing is, we need to activate this virtual environment for this particular terminal. So you have created a virtual environment. Now all the commands which you want to run for Python, you want to run with this virtual environment, right? So for that, you have to activate this environment in this terminal, and for that the command is, if you are using Windows, then the command is going to be venv, which is your virtual environment name, /scripts/activate. I am using a Mac, or if you are using a Linux, then your command will be this one, source space virtual environment name /bin/activate. So let's type the command source venv bin activate. Hit enter, and now you will notice that in your terminal this particular thing is added, which is your virtual environment name. It means your virtual environment is active. Now the next thing is, we need to upgrade pip. Pip is the package manager in Python, right? This is a completely optional step, but it is good if you keep your pip upgraded. So let's run this command pip install --upgrade pip. Hit enter, wait for some time, and this will update your pip. Pip is the package manager, so we need to keep it updated. Now once this is done, we can clear the console, and let's do the next thing, which is the main thing why we are doing all this thing, which is install Django. So the installation process is very simple. Pip install Django. This is the package name. So let's write this command pip install Django. Hit enter, wait for some time, and this will install Django in your virtual environment. Now this step can take some time, guys. So you need to wait for some time. And once this installation is done, the next thing what we are going to do is, we need to confirm if the installation is done or not. See, right now we can see there is a message successfully installed. Now it means that Django is installed, but we need to confirm this as well, right? So let's clear the console. And to confirm the installation, what we can do is we can type this command Django -admin space hyphen version. So Django admin space hyphen version. Hit enter, and this is going to show you the Django version which is installed in your virtual environment. So we can see it is 5.2.1, which is latest for today, the date on which this video is created. Next thing is we need to create our first Django project. Now the process to create the first Django project is we need to type this command Django admin space start project. Now this is the command, space your project name space dot. Now I'm going to tell you everything about this command. First of all, let's type this command. So Django admin space start project. Now this part is going to be common for every project which is created in Django. Then comes the project name. So let us name our project as my site space dot. Now why are we using this dot? I will tell you. First you can hit enter, and then you will notice that we have few folders which are created in our Django mastery folder which we have created. So this my site folder is there. This venv is the virtual environment or which was already there. Now we have this manage.py file. So there are two things which is created. This my site folder which has few files, few Python files, and we have this manage.py file which is also created. Now the use of this dot is all these folders, the my site folder and the manage.py file, all these things are created under the folder in which you currently are. So right now we are in the Django mastery folder, right? If we do not include this dot, then what this will do is this will first create a folder called as my site, and inside this my site folder it is again going to create another folder my site and manage.py. So what I'm trying to explain you right now is this my site is the folder in which we have some configuration file for our project, and we have this manage.py which is used for some CLI commands. If you include a dot, then it will assume that the folder in which you currently are, that folder is your project. So it is saying that Django mastery is the project, my site is the project configuration, and manage.py is a file which is used for project CLI commands. Now let's do one thing. Let's actually delete these two folders which are created. So let me delete this. And once this is deleted, if you right now try to again run the command Django admin space start project space your project name, but without a dot, then you will see that there is a difference. Hit enter, and you will see that one folder is created. What happened is this time it created a folder my site which is the project folder. This my site is the project folder. Inside this you will have this my site which is your project configuration folder. So all the configuration is present in this particular folder my site, and you have this manage.py also, right? So this dot is to indicate, this dot is telling Django that I am in my project folder, don't create my project folder, just create my project configuration folder and the manage.py file. So let us delete this file my site, and let's again run the command Django admin start project my site with a dot, because we want to make sure that this Django mastery folder is our project folder. So let's run the command with a dot, hit enter, wait for some time. Yes, our project configuration folder is created, manage.py is created. The next thing is we need to run the development server. If you want to run your development server, you need to run the command python manage.py, this is the manage.py file, space run server. So let us run this command python manage.py space run server. Hit enter, wait for some time, and you will see a message, and you don't need to worry about this complete message. For now you need to focus on this line, starting development server at this particular URL. So you got a URL, you got a local URL at which your Django development server is started. So what you can do is you can just copy this URL, and you can go to your browser, paste the URL and hit enter, and you will see this particular message, what you can see right now in the screen. The install worked successfully, congratulations. Now the thing is, if you are able to see this, you are on the correct path. If you are not able to see this, there might be something which you have done wrong, which is fine. You can just comment your query and I will tell you how can you resolve any error, or you can watch some part of the video again. But if you are able to see this screen, then you are on the correct path. This is the development server which you can run and see how your application is working in your local system before you actually deploy it to a web server. Now the thing is guys, we have installed Python, we have installed Django, we have set up the development server, we have set up our project in the VS Code. So we are actually ready to create our project. We are ready to understand a lot about Django, how it works, how different concepts works in Django. what are the different concepts and what are the different things which we should know to develop a project in Django, which is fine, which we are going to see in the later videos. For now, there is one more thing I am going to tell you, that is the file by file breakdown of what we just created. See, the thing is, when we run this command, Django admin start project my site dot, then what we are doing is we are actually setting up a Django project, right? So we set up a Django project called as Django mastery. Inside this we have this my site file, my site folder, and manage.py. You don't need to worry about db.sqlite3 for now. We will see it later on. What you need to know about is this manage.py file. This file is a CLI tool to run the server, migrations, creating applications, and doing a lot of things. So basically, if you want to run any command in your particular project using the CLI tool, using the command line tool, then manage.py is the file which you are going to make use of. So right now you can see one of the example, Python manage.py space run server. We wanted to run our server and we made use of this one, manage.py, right? So basically manage.py is the CLI tool to create some applications and all those different things which we are going to see in later videos. Talking about the my site folder, the my site folder is that folder which is the inner project folder which we just created. It generally has the same name as the project. If you do not use this dot command, if you use the dot command, then the project name is whatever folder name you have created, and then there are different files in this my site, right? We have init, asgi, settings, urls, and wsgi. All of these are Python file, and all of these files hold some core configuration of our project. First of all, the init.py, it's just a normal file which marks our folder as a Python package. So if you want to make any folder as a Python package, you should have this file underscore underscore init dot underscore underscore py dot py. Then you have this settings.py, this file. This file is used to store some global settings for our complete projects, some installed applications, middleware which we are using, database configurations, and a lot of things which is global to our project. All these things will be present in the settings.py. Then you have this urls.py. This is the main URL routing configuration for the entire project. So you know that a particular web application has a lot of URLs, right? It has a home page, it has a login page, it has a different kind of URLs. So all those URL configurations are present in the urls.py. Then you have this asgi.py. This particular file is the entry point for any ASGI server. So if you want to make your web application with async capabilities, then this is the file where your request will be accepted by the server. And if you want to do any kind of traditional web server work without async or asynchronous capabilities, then wsgi.py is the file which will accept your request as a server. So this is the entry point for your WSGI server. And I know that there are a lot of things which you do not know, which is fine. It is just the first video which is just focused on introducing you to Django and its project specification, doing some setup. And if we have done this, if we have done the setup, understood about the project, understood about little bit about Django, then that's good. That's all we wanted to understand in this video. So I think that's it for this video, guys. In the next video, what we are going to do is we are going to create our first Django project, which we have already done. We are going to understand about the folder structure in depth. We will see something more about the project folders. We will see all these files and all these folders in depth. Then we are going to understand about one of the main concepts of Django, which is basics of views. So views are one of the main concept in Django, and that's what we are going to focus in the next video. So that's it for this video, guys. If you liked the video, then make sure that you hit that like button. And if you want to master Django and if you want to follow along this series, then make sure that you hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure that if you have any kind of queries, you put it in the comment box and I will answer your queries. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching this video, guys.